Hi, this is a Minute of Overpass. My name is Eric and I make apps. Now this week I want to talk about the importance of analytics. Okay, so earlier this week I went to an event in London sponsored by Google and a big venture capital firm. And it was called the Mobile Growth Summit. And what they talked a lot about was user acquisition. I filmed a little bit before I went in, and just here's a little bit before I went in.
Hey guys, so I'm in London at the moment. I'm at Tottenham Court Road. I'm at the Google headquarters. I'm going to this Google event on how to ramp up your app users. I get invited to these things sometimes, and they're always pretty cool. Mainly because the swag's really good. You get like a lot of, Google's always very generous with the stuff that's in the goodie bag. But also, I think last time I came to one for AdMob, which was a couple years ago, and I met like a lot of really good developers. Like developers who had like way more apps than I did at the time. And I was like, at the time, I didn't know anybody else had more than I did. But of course, they're out there, but you don't really get to mingle with them, and it's always really important. Anyway, I just wanted to do this really quick. Anything that I learn, of course, I want to tell you about. Anything that that I try out and it seems to work well for me, I'll let you know.
Okay, so basically what I was going to do is go in there, and if I learned anything new, I'd tell you all about it. But to be honest with you, I was kind of disappointed with the whole event. It was more geared towards large companies, and it was geared towards user acquisition and cost per install type campaign. So one person even said, one of the speakers even said that in this day and age, you realistically can't get any new users unless you pay for them. So, and what they mean by pay for them is running these cost per install campaigns, which are CPI campaigns, so that you run an ad, and if somebody actually installs the application, then you pay like $1. So in order for this to work, you have to figure out like the lifetime value of your customers, or the LTV. So if over the course of the lifetime of that user, they're worth say $1.50, then it makes sense that you're going to spend $1 on them. Now I went through and found out the lifetime value of my users, and it's like 11 cents. So it was it wasn't really that high, and I kind of, to be honest with you, I was a bit disappointed about the event, because like some of the companies there had ad budgets of like $50,000 a month. Most of the people there were UA specialists or user acquisition specialists, so they worked for large companies only on user acquisition. So I went away kind of feeling like, well, it's not really for me. I'm a small developer, and it's not, but it's more for larger companies. However, when I woke up the next morning, I was thinking a little bit about what they talked about, and I thought about how that stuff could be applied. And one of the things they talked about was, with apps, you have to track everything that happens. So you have to be able to change things, test, change, which we talk about here also, right? But one thing I don't look at enough is the analytics in our app. Now, if you have a look at my screen here, now this is the Google Analytics for EarSpy, which is my biggest app. Now, I've had this in there since the beginning. That was one of the things that was important, to put analytics into the application so we can see how things go. It's kind of a good practice to be able to track certain things within the application. However, I don't look at it very often. So to be honest, I might as well not even have it at all, right? I look more at downloads, I look at revenue, and I look at ads and stuff like that. But so the next morning, I woke up, yesterday morning I woke up and I looked at this, and I started looking at not just this main page here where all the users come from. I actually went down into behaviors, and I started looking at the screens. Now, in terms of making purchases within EarSpy, I want them to go to one page, which is called the Add Features page. So they could go through and say, I want to add MP3 recording, or I want to add the extended equalizer, that kind of stuff. However, when I looked at this, let me just put this back in the way I would have saw it yesterday morning. You can see here there's the main page, which everybody hits 95%. Add feature page. It was only 1.95% of people actually see it. So I started looking at that and said, well, no wonder I don't get as many purchases. Most of my revenue comes from ads, not a lot from purchases. And sometimes people will complain about the ads because they don't even, I don't even know if they know that they can remove them by making a small purchase. So I started to look at things, in terms of how the app actually looks. So let me just show you some screenshots here of the application. So this is what the app looked like prior to yesterday. So what I was counting on is for, when the user opens the app, they see the equalizer, they click the button, the equalizer here, and up here in the upper right hand corner is the menu, action bar menu. So they go through, they click on it, and it opens up this menu here. So, and over here they got unlock feature, which is a way to get like an unlock code if they tweet about it or like it on Facebook. Save configuration, which saves the location of the equalizer. Load configuration, which loads up the previous saves. And finally here, add features, which is kind of way down on the list. And then more options, which takes you to like on Twitter, rate the app, that kind of stuff. So this is where I want people to go. And I'm not entirely sure that people are actually finding it, because they have to go through and find that menu. They have to know the Android system. They have to know that those three dots are the menu, and actually do a little bit of poking around. Now, a couple years ago, we didn't even have that menu on there. We didn't have an action bar. We relied on the menu button of the device itself. So people weren't finding it. So, it's going to make me seem really naive here. Now, I realize this. I seem really naive because of the fact that, that was not obvious to me. So what I did yesterday morning in a flurry of activity, pushed everything else back, some very probably unhappy clients, I went through and I changed the interface and I added a button here on the front page. So here I got an add features button, so that if you're looking at it, it's very obvious. You click on that, you go to add features. Also, I went through and I reorganized the menu, moved add features to the top because that's the thing that I most want to happen, and I removed the unlock features because that's something that it's kind of nice, but it's not important, right? So what I want to do is I want people to enjoy using the app. The app should be completely run on its own, but and serve ads and all that kind of stuff, but I still want them to make a purchase, hopefully to remove those ads or to add some of the extra features. So I released this yesterday afternoon with these changes. And let me just show you, if I go through here and I show you this one page here, including yesterday, we can see that we always have about 1,500 views of that page. Yesterday we doubled that, and that was only with half a day. So it's starting to do a little bit more how I want it to work, and the only reason I'm able to make that work is because I have the analytics in there. But again, I've had analytics in there for a long time and haven't really looked at it. And and I need to start tagging some more things in there and start tracking how things, where people are going, how they're finding that kind of stuff. I've also done some changes on the add features page where I used to have like just a bunch of buy buttons and they'd have to click on it and then see what the price is. So I just used the APIs and started showing the price on there. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because I have analytics. I've ignored analytics. A lot of people don't have analytics at all, and it's probably one of the most important things you can have. Like if you have a website, you can tell where people are hitting, where people are going. But with an app, I mean, they're on people's phones all over the place. So the way to really know what's going on and to know how people are behaving in the app is to put proper analytics in there. We use Google Analytics, which is changing over to Firebase, but we're going to go full into Firebase. There's loads of other services out there like Flurry, and I don't know, there's other ones too. But yeah, that's my point this week is, have a look at your app, have a look at your analytics. Maybe this week you can get analytics in some of your apps too if you don't already have them. If you do have them, start looking at the flow. If you've been as naive as I have, and start looking about, are people going to where you want them to go, and what can you do to test things and see where things go. So that's it for this week. I hope it's been helpful, and I'll talk to you next week.